Hi, everybody. I'm so glad you are joining us today. Have you ever wanted to learn how to turn your passion into profit? Well, we're going to be here to help you. So I'm Cathy from Fabric Bash.
I'm Amy with Readthread Financial.
So tell me a little bit more about Readthreads, Amy, and then in a minute I'll talk about a little bit more about Fabric Bash.
Fantastic. Readthread Financial is an equipment finance company. We're based out of South Dakota, and we are niched in the creative services industry. Really, we focus on long arm quilting, embroidery, sewing machines, anything that quilters, embroiderers, any makers, they're financing the equipment, we do that. So we understand the equipment. We're not just a traditional lending source that doesn't know what people are doing with this equipment. And we love it. It's such a fantastic industry.
That was the hardest part when I started. You want to get a what?
Right.
A long arm. Could you please explain that?
You want to spend $50,000 on a sewing machine? What's wrong with you? I know.
Right. And I'm Cathy from Fabric Bash, and we have two stores. Our original store is in Omaha, Nebraska, and our second location now is in Rapid City, South Dakota. But that is not where I met Amy. I met Amy in Paducah.
Yes, we had to go to Kentucky.
Yes.
And we only live a few hours apart. Yes. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Right? We met at Paducah a couple years ago because I was working in the APQS booth, which is a brand of long arms.
Yep.
And you came up and said, hey, and that was just a lot of fun and talking about things, right?
Absolutely. And it's such a great opportunity like for me to attend Paducah because I really get to see the end users and the makers and what they're doing with the equipment. I'm looking at numbers all day long and personal credit scores, and I'm talking about debt to income and a lot of very dry things. So it's really fun to go see what people are doing with the equipment.
In the meantime, they're putting these little beautiful things together in magnificent quilts. Just
love it.
Magnificent, right?
So talented.
I love going to all of the quilt shows and seeing all of the work. Local, all the way up to the national ones. There's phenomenal quilters across the world. It's really amazing.
Yes.
So tell me how you got started in the financial world, because that always just like baffles me a little bit because it's numbers.
Right, right. You know, I've been doing it for so long, probably almost 25 years, and I'm only 35 years old, so I'm not sure how that math, right? Totally a lie. I worked for US Bank many, many years ago, and that's how I learned the industry. And then decided that I wanted to start my own business and really get into helping small businesses and learning about them and talking to them and making it not such a corporate experience. So I've just been doing it forever.
That's awesome.
What about you?
Well, I started by buying a very used machine on the western side of Nebraska and having a long arm business in my basement. So that's where I went. And when I went to ask for, you know, starting a business plan and what's a long arm, I'm like always having to explain this industry. It just kind of cracks me up. It's the kind of, I love watching people, when I say, well, I own a quilt store, and they're like, oh, how cute. I'm like, yeah, and they're like, I'm cute. It's fun, and it's great, and I love it, but there are some challenges, because it's a business, it's a retail business, right? But I started in my basement, me and my dog, because I had to stay home with my children, because at the time they were still in elementary school, my youngest. And then all of a sudden, about 2 years into it, I'm looking at my husband going, okay, I am a very social butterfly. I'm like, this is not gonna work.
I gotta get out of the basement.
I gotta get out of my basement. And at the time, we just had the 3 daughters get married in 18 months. And my youngest, the youngest one that got married Jacob. And those two always like hung around. And I was like watching movies and I'm skinning quilts and I'm doing stuff and he's just like, that looks just painful. And then he's always talking about how he wanted to start a business. I'm like, you know what? I think you should become my machine tech and we could start a quilting store. And he goes, okay.
That is awesome.
And I bought a store in Omaha that had a long arm rental program. They sold Janome sewing machines and they had some fabrics and some embroidery supplies and some of that stuff. And so we bought that in 2019. And then COVID hit.
Wow.
Yeah, we were scared because they just had their first baby. We put all this money into this business, you know, and COVID hit. So it was just a really scary time. But we pivoted. Jacob and I learned our strengths and weaknesses. and we grew. They got pregnant with their second, and we said, we need to make this bigger. We went from 2,000 square feet to 8,000 square feet.
Wow.
A little bit of fabric to a lot of fabric, but still added more sewing machines. We've added a whole bunch, a few more brands of sewing machines. Enjoyed the whole process, and then a couple years ago, we were getting to the growth point, and Jacob was feeling a little bit stressed, and we were actually at the emergency room with Jake because he was stressed while we're at our financial meeting. And I called Greg and I'm like, hey, do you want to come into the business? And he's like, well, let me think about it.
And the answer was yes.
The answer was yes. And Greg joined. And then Mark graduated college with a video degree, and he slowly came in. And in the past year and a half, he's been all in. And Anna and Jacob always been there. It has just been interesting as I look back, seeing how we started from inside my little house in the basement to that little store to this big store, now to 2 stores. So in November of 25, we opened up the second store, which is about the same size as Omaha. And we're loving Rapid City.
And it's beautiful.
I love, truly, I'm crazy, but I do love driving in between the 2 stores because there's some beautiful land. There's some great places about. I love having and serving the Omaha quilting community, and the same with Rapid City and beyond, because we've kind of moved out along that as well. My biggest passion, though, and I would say your passion as well, in selling the Longarms, is I love helping other people start some businesses. That's how I started. I bought this little Tin Lizzie, and now I have all of these different brands of machines, and we're helping other people start businesses. But the scary part, which it shouldn't be, but it can be intimidating, is the financing part.
Right.
Like, how do you get started? This is a big purchase. A long arm is not something that you go, I'm going to buy 2 long arms today.
Right. Well, you are the success story. You think about where you started and where you're at now. You are the proven factor to say, this is doable. And if all the things that you've been through, if financing is the scary part, that's easy, right? We can get that done in 5 minutes.
That's amazing.
That's the super easy part.
And that's why we're here, because we're talking about an option that we're going to have available on our webpage to help all of our consumers to even see if they qualify before they come walking in to ask if they can even purchase a long arm.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes. And we do commercial financing, so you just need to be quilting for others. You don't have to be IBM. You don't have to be a huge company. You just have to be quilting for others.
You don't have to have an EIN or any of the tax. Right. You don't have to any of that.
Sole proprietor is fantastic.
Okay.
We do a very easy application. I'm going to guess it's probably going to take about 3 to 5 minutes online to apply. And then Elena, who works with me, who is my daughter.
Which I love, because you got the family part.
Yes.
We have the family part.
Yes, exactly. She's going to make a phone call, talk to the person, and talk about what they want to do with that machine.
Right.
Do they belong to guilds? Just all sorts of information. How are they going to grow that business? What's the plan? And we can have a decision back, usually same day, sometimes the next day.
And I love working with you through the machines, because you guys call us and say, hey, we got this customer, we're working with them. And I'm like, yes, they've been in. They're going to buy this, this, and this. We get the price to you all. And like within a day or two, like everything's all nip and tuck and done.
Exactly. We try to make it as easy as we possibly can, because with all the things that you have to, you think about all those decisions you made from starting in the basement to today, we want to be the easiest thing there is. In that whole lineage of decisions, we want to be the easiest thing, and we want to watch it grow. That's so exciting.
Awesome. Can you tell me the difference between business credit and personal credit? Because I heard that word, and that is what's, I think, very intriguing. And I think that is one thing that when we talk financing, I've talked financing before, I didn't realize about the differences. And I would like for people who really truly want to either work for a guild or work for Quilts of Valor, because that's working, even 100%. Though you're donating your time, that's working. Or start a business, somebody who needs some extra income. This is great for people who need to stay home. I've helped people who hurt their backs and now they need some sort of income, have done it that way. Younger people making some income, to people who are like, nope, I just want to quilt for myself, but I want to help my guild out.
Right, yep. Business credit is very different, and that's such a fantastic question. So as an example, if you are buying, let's say, a $20,000 machine and you put it on a credit card, What that does is it shows up as revolving debt on your personal credit. And revolving debt isn't fantastic. Now, it's not always bad. There's so many attributes in a personal credit report,
Right.
so it's not just always bad. That's not what I'm saying. But it's factored in, and it's unsecured lending. So business credit is really important to build, because then as you are growing, you can go then and say, all right, now I need to do $100,000 as a build out, $50,000, whatever. You can go back and say, look how well I've performed with my business credit. I have this loan on this Longarm, and I've paid perfectly for 60 months.
That's awesome.
Then when you go to your bank and you say, I need X for a build out, they're like, wow, geez, she's great. She knows what she's doing. She's building a business. She's got all of her assets and her bank account's separate. She's built an actual legitimate business.
Right.
It's not commingled. So it really is important.
That did happen. You just jogged a memory. When I was in my basement and I went to a little town next to me, and we're going to look in this cute little old town in Nebraska. And the mayor sat down with us and he's like, well, you need a business plan. And so then I called this lady, he goes, you need to call this lady. And I called this lady and she goes, but you already have a business. So I don't understand what he's saying. So again, somebody who didn't quite understand the sewing industry.
Right.
Whereas you can really help us with that, right?
Exactly, it can help with all those things, and we understand it. You know, like you had just said, someone said, oh, you own a quilt shop, isn't that cute? Well, yeah, it's cute. It's very cute in here, it's adorable, but it's also, it's a business, and it makes money, and I'm here for a reason, right? So that's why it's so important to talk to somebody who does understand that.
Right.
You know, financing a forklift is a lot different than financing a long arm quilting machine.
Right.
And we have, it's kind of a joke in our office that when people will go in and speak with traditional lending sources, people will say that, you want to spend $30,000 on a sewing machine? What is wrong with you, right? So that we really do understand the equipment.
I always laugh because I've wrapped my truck, right? And
it's cool.
It's got a quilt on the outside, fabric bash, and everybody's like, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I'm a quilt store.
Right.
Well, why do you need a truck? I'm like, because I have 14-foot equipment I have to move around.
Exactly. And I pull a trailer. And her pipes are loud.
Yeah. So it's just kind of a fun thing that you're a sewing machine store, but you need this big truck? I'm like, yes, we do. We need something to haul stuff around. It's kind of fun.
Right. It's such a fantastic niche industry. And one thing I've noticed is everyone in this industry is happy. It's such a joyful, it's just joyful because there's traditions that are passed down, things that people have made. It's such a fantastic place.
Even
to
if the tradition skips one generation, like, you know, great grandma sewed, but grandma didn't, but now, or grandma sewed, but mom didn't, but now the younger generations, there's this big thing these days called grandma hobbies.
Okay.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Grandma hobbies like knitting, crocheting, quilting are starting to become a real famous thing.
I love that.
Right.
I really love that. You think about it, it's just going back to good, wholesome roots, right?
Right. And the long arm is one of the newer additions to the industry. We've always had the sewing machines, you got the treadle machines, got all of the history of all those. It is one of the newer machines. It's really a basic straight stitch machine, but it puts those quilt tops together with the backing and it makes the quilt, all stay stabilized, right? So it puts that stitching through all 3 layers. Now you can finish the quilt. And it is, I would say in the past 30 years, has grown to the point now that we have people have them in their home just for themselves.
Right.
Or to help others. And that's what I love about this quilting community, because quilting uses your brain and all of the cells of your body. Sometimes your frustration levels get high, but you keep this brain going, engaged and young.
I love that.
What they do and what is so amazing about this quilting community is I watch the quilters come in here, both men and women, right? Pick out their fabrics, take the time to pick it out, then they have to go home and they have to press it and iron it, and then they have to cut it, and then they have to sew it, and then they have to do this, and they pay for somebody to long arm it if they don't long arm it. They have to put the binding on it, they package it all up and just go here, and there's like thousands of dollars in this here.
Wow.
I made this for you. And we were, unfortunately, but in a happy way, one of the quilts that we had at our store in Omaha, we're waiting to get quilt, and in between then, the grandma passed away.
Oh.
And it was just like it turned out to be very beautiful, very sad at the time. Like it broke my heart to quilt this quilt, knowing, and then of course the pantograph misaligned on me, and then I got this little space in there, and I'm like, oh no, what am I gonna do? And I was stressing about it, but I had this vision. I called her and I said, so if you had children today, because we made this for a future baby.
Okay.
They go, I want this quilted for a future baby that I'm gonna have.
Okay.
If she was still alive, what would your children call her? And I wrote it in there, and I put it in there as a secret message, kind of like nice and tight, right? Just
That's
a little
so cool.
bit. Yeah, so we get to help each other through that.
Exactly.
Like I said, when people were worried about some of the political things going on, I said, quilters are amazing. In the Civil War, there were codes used for people to where to go with the quilts hanging. And feed sacks were making clothes, right? COVID, we made masks.
Yeah.
Quilters are gonna be there, sewers are gonna be there, sewists are gonna be there to save the world, always.
Love
and in
that.
order to do that, we're gonna need a sewing machine. And we wanna make that happen for you, whether it be an embroidery machine, multi-needle, a long arm, a top of the line, to do things from making dog collars. I have a lady in the business in Omaha that does dog collars, to another lady, the big kid strollers that are out there now that are real big. She makes them, she jazzes them up with all kinds of stuff.
That's brilliant.
And then does some embroidery on that. It's like the sky's the limit.
Yeah, right.
It is just not about quilting. I love doing anything but quilting on the long arm. So I use leather. I do. I find antique linens and I made a clock in Omaha out of an antique linen. So I like to do different fun things, right?
That's awesome.
Right.
Well, and you think about it, so what would an average machine cost?
Well, you're talking anywhere from the lower end of about 12 to 15 up to about 40, 45.
Okay.
Maybe even 50 if the computer, depending on the flow of the economy at the time.
Right. So.
And which machine.
Right. So a $50,000 machine, the payment's probably going to be right around $1,000 a month, just as a ballpark, right, for 60 months. And we can even extend that out longer. We can go upwards to 84 months. So to cash flow that, how many quilt tops would someone need to do to make that happen?
8 to 10 in a month.
In a month, right?
Right. So if you're looking for a side hustle to make some extra cash, or you need just to stay home because you have life situations that make you stay home, children, whatever it is, you can still in the evenings do a quilt tonight or do something like that and still make some money. Or even while the kids are sleeping. Or I'd come up with some great ideas. There's lots of great options for embroidery machines are the same.
Yes.
All of that are just that multi-needle. It's just amazing. So it's just fun to see and to be able to, again, help people do that. That's what makes, to me, I want to sell happiness. I'm not selling a sewing machine. I'm selling that passion.
Yep. Happiness and opportunity.
Yeah.
I love that.
Right.
Doesn't get any better than that.
Right. But we need your help sometimes. And I'm so glad that you explained the difference between the business and the personal financing.
Yep.
It's just so cool to see that.
And we can do everything from someone in their basement, home-based, to someone in a really cool store in Rapid City, right?
Yeah.
And everywhere in between.
Right.
We're nationwide. We can do any state.
Right. And so with this tool coming to our webpage, we will make sure it is always legitimate and true and secure.
Yes, 100%. We're real people.
Yes. And I've had hacking issues. I'm sure you've had hacking issues. And that's one thing that we will make sure that it's a legitimate, obviously, because in this day and age of, and that's another thing I'm going to say, in this day and age of AI and all of this scary stuff, we are both real people.
Yep.
Right? Our store is full of real people who are going to help you. We're going to help you get the right machine. I'm not going to get you the top of the line if that's not what you need. I'm not going to get you, I want to get you the right machine.
Right.
The right machine is more important than my sales. It's getting you the right machine. And you're going to make sure we get the right financing.
That's exactly right, for the circumstance. Yeah,
Right.
That's such a great point. And talking to real people, there are so many so many options, right, for lending. You could Google it and you could find a website and you could apply.
Yeah.
oh, that's kind of scary, right?
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's really important to know who you're working with and make sure that your data is secure. So
Right.
it's a great point.
Awesome. We look forward to helping you in the future. So if you know anybody who's thinking about any type of sewing business, make sure you share this video with them. Check out Fabric Bash. We can help you with a whole bunch of options. And on our webpage will be a portal system as well that will get you to her secure portal system. I do not want to know anybody's information.
Right.
I don't want to know that. Like, I mean, it is just like one of those, like, we even get calls, can I pay over the phone? No, you cannot pay over the phone. I'm not going to write down somebody's
Yeah.
information. I will send you an invoice and you can do it from the security of your home, but we're not doing that way.
Yep, it's a good plan, 100%. This is exciting. It's an
Awesome.
exciting partnership.
Well, I can't wait to see what comes out in the future. We're talking about some other options that might be coming out as well, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you stay tuned to Fabric Bash and to Readthreads, and we'll see you in the future.
Thank you.